So I think this is a great comment and a great point. I made a video about people defaulting SBA loans and not feeling guilty about filing bankruptcy and discharging their debt to the federal government. However, in situations like this, because he's saying as a CPA, he has a moral dilemma when he sees that people took these government loans and misappropriated funds, didn't use them for approved uses. They transfer the money to a personal account, bought houses, planes, cars, put it in brokerage accounts. And I too have consulted with a lot of people that took money for a business that was pretty much winding down, that really didn't need the money, and then they use those funds personally. So that person is not a good candidate for bankruptcy and discharging their debt, because the government can do what's called an adversary proceeding to make the debt non-dischargeable. And that's because bankruptcy is for the honest but unfortunate debtor. So somebody who took money from the government for a business and then used that money personally is not an honest but unfortunate debtor. And so if the government really, really wants to make something non-dischargeable, they could do so by doing an adversary proceeding and trying to argue that the money was used fraudulently, that it wasn't used for the right purpose, and therefore that debt should not be discharged. And so when we talk to people on consults, one of the questions I do ask is, how do you use the money? And the responses I get are wild. And when I get one of those wild responses, like I went out and bought, multiple rental properties for myself that's not related to my business, or I bought a plane, or I bought a boat, I have to tell them that, bankruptcy is not going to save them, because if the government wants to make it non-dischargeable, bankruptcy can actually be a dangerous place. A lot of people think bankruptcy is a safe place, but there is a United States trustee that can get involved. There is always a trustee in the case in a Chapter 7 that is assigned, and there are government attorneys that monitor these court filings. And so sometimes bankruptcy can actually increase scrutiny and create far worse outcomes, especially in a tax sitting. Some taxes are actually dischargeable in bankruptcy, but two of the rules are there can be no fraud or willful evasion. And so oftentimes, if it's a large dollar amount and people actually meet the tax dischargeability rules, the timing rules, if the government really doesn't want the taxes to be discharged, they can do that same adversary proceeding and get them on fraud or willful evasion. And then a lot of times what they do is they win that adversary proceeding and then turn it into a district court judgment. And that takes the statute from 10 years to 20 years, where they have a lien. And so I've seen that happen as well. So bankruptcy is not a safe place if you've done something wrong. So as far as the moral dilemma, I do not recommend that people file bankruptcy when they have some kind of fraud or they misappropriate the funds. Hope that helps.